the all-American half pound, 2 pure beef patties, lettuce, tomato.
Singles going steady.
This is Singles Going Steady, the podcast dedicated to exploring great singles with a particular eye to the punk, new wave, and DIY eras of the last century. I'm Steve McGowan.
I'm Adrienne Madoc. We're in a band, the Beef People, who released a single in 1986 on our own label, Zub Records. But we're also record collectors and passionate especially about the expression of pop music perfection that is the single recording. Exploring the mystery of what makes for a great single is what propelled us to begin this podcast. So what number are we up to now?
This is number 010.
Maybe so 11.
011, excuse me.
The odometer ticked over as we were talking.
It did. And today we're going to talk about a CD single. We're moving up into the modern age now, huh?
Yeah, the modern age in the way that like design in the 1920s was known as modern.
Exactly.
So it's the old modern.
The band is one of our favorite bands, The Posies from Seattle, Washington. And from their first record, Dear 23, the song is Golden Blunders.
Can we just play a little?
Let's go right ahead and we'll play a little bit of Golden Blunders. I think that's a great idea.
Golden blunders come in pairs. They're very unaware. What they know is what they sing. Education wasn't fun, but now the school is done. Higher learning's just begun. You're gonna watch what you say for a long time. You're gonna suffer the guilt forever. You're gonna get in the way at the wrong time. You're gonna mess up things you thought you would never. Disappointment breeds contempt. It makes you feel inept. Never thought you'd feel alone at home. Kiss and us forevermore. Throw your freedom out the door before you find out what it's for. You're gonna watch what you say for a long time. You're gonna suffer the guilt forever. You're gonna get in the way at the wrong time. You're gonna mess up things you thought you would never. Weeks seem like a long time then, but 9 months is longer now. And even if you never speak again, you've already made the wedding vow. You're gonna watch what you say for a long time. You're gonna suffer the guilt forever. You're gonna get in the way at the wrong time. You're gonna mess up things you thought you would never. Honeymoons will never start. Bombs will blow apart just as fast as they were made. Men and women, please beware. Don't pretend to care. Nothing lasts when nothing's there. You're gonna watch what you say for a long time. You're gonna suffer the guilt forever.
right, Golden Blunders. The Posies were pretty young. This was their second album, Dear 23, their first for a major label, for Geffen Records. They had hit the big time. Apparently, this was right at the age of grunge, and people were signing any band in Seattle, even though the Posies are certainly not a grunge band.
This is no grunge.
No grunge at all.
This is Beatlesque perfection.
It
That's
really
kind of
is
why I
something.
said, look, can we hear a little to begin with?
Golden
Because
Blunders, Golden Slumbers. It's an amazing band. They were so young, and the lyrical themes are so world-weary, and the music is amazing. The two voices, Ken Stringfellow and John Auer, they just mesh together beautifully. I always think of the Hollies when I think of them.
Oh, yeah.
They did do a Hollies cover, King Midas in Reverse, and a little bit of the Zombies too. That singing, that just beautiful late '60s kind of vocal style.
But they're not, they're not stuck in some sort of, tribute band loop or anything, because it's Posey's music is unmistakable as its own.
Yes, it's
And
not.
yet-
It's not just a pastiche or
Exactly.
Yeah. The single is one of the many great songs on the Dear 23 record, and the record was released in 1990, and we have just received a reissue of the record by the label Omnivore Records.
Yeah, and they're doing the Lord's work.
They really
These
are.
reissues.
They have been reissuing a lot of really cool things. Everything from Uncle Walt's band to the Bangles, the Posies, just all kinds of stuff. The new Peter Holsapple record is
Right,
on
so
Omnivore.
it's not all reissued.
Yes.
There's new stuff coming out.
And they remastered the first Posies record. You can buy it on vinyl. It's 2 records. It runs at 45 RPM, so it's a super high mastering, really good quality. And then the CD, if you buy the CD, it's 2 discs, and it has like 27 songs. It has the 10 songs on the record and 17 demos and other things. A lot of stuff that have never been released.
Yeah, the Posies are big about releasing. It's not Disney's vault when things are hidden deeply, that they release a lot of demos, alternate versions, live, and more of the same here. But it's all such good stuff that you're glad to have it.
So talking about Omnivore and how great a label they are, and the demos that are on the CD for Dear 23, the Posies. We're going to play you just a little bit of one of the demos for Golden Blunders. This is the John Auer demo, and it's got the band on it, or I'm not sure if he's playing all the parts, but it's kind of a embryonic version of the song. We're just going to play a little bit of it right now for you.
Golden blunders coming fast, very unaware. What they know is what they've seen. Education wasn't fun, but now that school is done, higher learning's just begun. You're gonna carry that weight a long time. You're gonna suffer the guilt forever. You're gonna get in the way at the wrong time. You're gonna mess up things you thought you would never. Disappointment breeds contempt. It makes you feel inept. Never thought you'd feel alone at home. Here's and hers forevermore. Throw your freedom out the door before you find out what it's for. You're gonna carry that weight a long time. You're gonna suffer the guilt forever.
All right, so there's a little bit of the Golden Blunders demo, just one of the many things you can get on that reissue CD.
And of course, Golden Blenders, reminiscent, obviously call back to Golden Slumbers, the Beatles song, and lots of interesting Beatles references when you look at the Posies. Two songwriters, two very strong songwriters, and when you have two dominant songwriters in a band, people always ask who's the Lennon and who's the McCartney. So who's the Lennon and who's the McCartney in the Posies?
Yeah, that's a good question, because remember we were talking about Husker Du and how different the two songwriters they were. These two are a little bit more similar. I would say they both have a lot of Lennon in them.
Yeah, I think that they've got the melodicness that McCartney is associated with, but certainly I think Lennon was no shirker when it came to a strong melody.
Exactly.
But it got this sort of cynicism and the wordplay that you associate more with Lennon. So two Lennons, maybe.
Yeah,
two
there's
Lennons with a cup of McCartney.
Not a lot of When I'm 64
exactly
type stuff on the Posies records. Again, we were talking about it earlier. They have a very adult, very mature, lyrical bent, talking about relationships and things breaking up and broken families, but it's kind of set in a positive, uplifting musical framework.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank goodness,
So
or else
we'd be in like an Elliott Smith sort of thing.
exactly, and there wouldn't have been just the 30th anniversary Posies tour.
Right. So, speaking of the Beatles and the Posies, Golden Blunders happened to be covered by a Beatle.
Oh, which Beatle was that?
Unfortunately, it was Ringo.
Oh, come on. We love Ringo.
Yeah, I know. Let's listen to a little bit of Ringo's.
The good news is the Beatles is covering your Beatlesque song, your heroes.
Yes, but it's Ringo. Let's listen to a little bit of Ringo doing Golden Blunders. I'm sorry.
It gets confusing.
Golden blunders come in pairs. They're very unaware. What they know is what they've seen. Education wasn't fun, but now that school is done, higher learning's just begun. Hey, hey, hey. You're gonna watch what you say for a long time. You're gonna suffer the guilt forever. You're gonna get in the way at the wrong time. You're gonna mess up things you thought you would never. Disappointment breeds contempt. It makes you feel inept. Never thought you'd feel alone at home. His and hers forevermore. Throw your freedom out the door before you find out what it's for. Hey, hey, hey. You're gonna watch what you say for a long time. You're gonna suffer the guilt forever.
If you ever wondered, what would that song sound like if it were a shanty? I think that sung in
drinking
shanty
song?
style, or yeah, that's definitely a down the pub version of Golden Blunders, or down the docks.
Yes. Down with the fishmongers.
Exactly.
Ringo, you gotta love
We
him.
love you, Ringo.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we do.
We do. Yep, you can come on the show anytime. So the Posies just toured. They came through doing the Dear 23 reunion tour with Mike Musburger on the drums.
Frosting on the beater, a
Yeah.
drum head, and the
Right.
drum cases. And
Yes, amazing. Unfortunately, they didn't have any of the records with them, but they are out now. And I had the pleasure of seeing the Posies 3 times.
And I only saw them twice in this last
I
tour.
saw them in Athens. We saw them in Charlotte, and we saw them in Washington, D.C. and each time was just spectacular.
And they were having such a fantastic time.
You can tell that they're just having so much fun.
Yeah, and enjoying each other's presence and enjoying being posies.
Yes,
and,
making each other laugh the whole time.
Yeah, and it kind of like having the audience there. It wasn't that they were just doing it for themselves, but they would have done it just for themselves, I think. But, it was like almost like a living room concert.
Yes, and the jokes were very, very dirty. Mike Musburger, the drummer, is just a powerhouse. He really was killing it. And Ken and John were just on it every night. We saw them.
And they were doing this interesting sort of online be a posy.
Yes.
That you could buy your way into being a posy for a night. We saw someone join in Charlotte playing bass.
That's right.
It was great. It was great guy from Charlotte coming up and playing bass, being a posy for a song.
They let him play in a song, and he was great.
Yeah. I guess maybe for the 31st anniversary, if they need a bass player, they know where to go.
And at the end of every show, John Auer would actually literally rip all the strings off his guitar, and the tailpiece would go flying. And much fun was had by everybody.
Yes. So catch them when they come to your town.
Yes. Do not miss the posies while they're still playing. Golden Blunders, great song.
And an unusual single in that it was on a CD. And,
yes.
And just, at this time in 1990, vinyl was gone.
Right.
Often we've sort of fallen into an old guy remembers, an old gal remembers. But certainly... the death of vinyl.
It was dead then.
It was definitely
right.
dead. And so having the re-release now on vinyl, it's on vinyl for the first time.
First time ever, yes. So Dear 23 is a record you need to check out. The first 3 Posies records, the first 4, are all just stellar.
Don't turn down a Posies album, no matter what number it is.
And do we have recommendations?
Ooh, I'm sure we do.
We can't
who
talk
would
about.
you like to hear cover? Because we heard.
we heard. That's I was
Ringo
going to
doing
mention
the
that.
definitive cover.
Yeah,
Or
Golden Blunders. It would have to be Paul. You'd have to. Yeah.
Paul and Ringo. And Ringo has to invite Paul to.
But Ringo doesn't have to sing.
Really, you've done enough.
Yes, thanks.
But we love Ringo.
Yes, we do. So, I would like to recommend something generic and specific. We've been talking about records. This is a podcast about records and the occasional CD. And I would like to recommend that you support your local music store, and music as in record store. We are in Durham right now. There are a number of great stores here. They're in Raleigh. They're in Chapel Hill. They're everywhere. There's a good local independent store. In fact, we went to a store yesterday.
It was a head shop.
Yes. Well, a vape shop, they call it. The kids call it now. And we went in looking for essential oil. And
no, we didn't.
and the place was full of records. So it was like we were caught in a bear trap. We both bought a bunch of really cool records.
Oh yeah, and which reminds me that
what was the name of that place?
The name of that place was Hunky Dory.
Hunky Dory,
and they have great T-shirts. And I don't know if they have essential oil, but I have to. I have to figure that they do.
I need it for my rheumatism.
But I was able to get a copy of One Nation Under a Groove on single, so you may be hearing about that. George Clinton is coming to town in September, so got to catch him while he's still doing Funkadelic Parliament.
I got a killer Isaac Hayes record on Stax, which is a double with all kinds of songs I didn't recognize on it.
And I got 3 William Bell Stax singles, so I'm pretty happy.
So anyway, we want you to support your independent local music store, and I would like to mention the one that I go to the most, which is in Greenville, South Carolina, Horizon Records, owned by Gene Berger. It's been there about 40 years. I bought a metric ton of records there, and they're good folks. They have a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of used records. If you're in Greenville, go see Gene and Horizon. And do you have any recommendations?
I guess I would recommend that get your lazy ass up and go to a local record store.
That's a good recommendation. And check out Hunky Dory.
Yes.
Hey.
Get a T-shirt with Durham on it.
Yes, indeed. So that's it for today. The Posies, Golden Blunders, 1990. And this is Singles Going Steady, 011. And it's been good talking with you. We'll see you soon.
Do it again soon.
Bye.
To learn more about the artists and recordings we just talked about, visit our website at zubrecords.com and click on the Singles Going Steady icon.
You'll also find links to the persons, places, and things we recommend, and much more.
You can find episodes of Singles Going Steady on our website or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Singles Going Steady is brought to you by the power and majesty of Zub Records.
Zub Records. Smart sounds for sharp people.